Hi everyone. So I'm Marta. I work for Specsavers and I look after Power BI platform. So today I'm going to show you how to integrate Power Automate with Power BI just to improve some of the processes and ensure security of the files. So I've So just to give you some context, as at Specsavers, we are a global company, so we've got like thousands of various data sets and reports in our tenant and hundreds of Power BI developers. So you can imagine it's quite a lot to manage. So if you don't know what Power BI is, it's like a reporting solution, and we use it as a self-serving reporting solution to make it easier for everyone to analyze the data. So Power Automate, it used to be Microsoft Flow, is one of the most popular workflow automation tools. And I just wanted to show you some use cases that I've used with Specsavers to automate some of the or maybe tackle some of the challenges we came across.
Sorry, Power Automate it's a separate product, or is it something?
It's part of the Power Platform. It's part of the Power Platform. So in terms of licensing, I think it comes with the enterprise licensing offering. So you will get a free license if your company has it. If not, you'd probably need to purchase it.
All right.
So Power Automate also has paid premium connectors that I've used in this sort of showcase, and that will require premium license, which is more expensive. So data set refreshes. I'm going to start with the most effortless flow that you can build using Power Automate. And just to give a context, Power BI service offers you to schedule, you can schedule the refreshes up to 48 times a day at 30 minutes intervals. And if you've got like hundreds or thousands of reports running or refreshing at the same time, it's definitely gonna degrade the performance of the service. So this was the use case for optimizing the platform at Specsavers. So the solution for it was to use Power Automate. Power Automate has got like refresh dataset Power BI dataset connector that connects to your dataset, and you can schedule a refresh at any point of the day and many times, which is very useful. And apart from that, you can schedule it based on events that happen in the underlying data. So, for example, if a SharePoint file or Excel file is being updated, it will automatically trigger the dataset refresh as well. So, for real sort of time reporting. You can also set it upon the successful refresh of any underlying data flows you're using within Power BI. So this is quite powerful, and it's very, very easy to build. It's like 4 steps, and it's free to use for everyone. So it doesn't require any premium connectors or licensing. Do you have any questions on this one now? Okay. So another example or use case for using Power Automate was to encrypt the Power BI files. So Power BI community is growing very rapidly, and people often don't use the platform to share the reports, but export the reports to various files, mainly PDF, and send the data via emails or via Teams. So we wanted to make sure that all the information is secured and encrypted. So and Microsoft doesn't support PDF files encryption. So again, I've used Power Automate to do it. So you may have managing directors who would prefer to see the PDF file, but they still need to follow the same process. The same security measures will apply to them as well. So there are 2 options I've recommended. And as a Power BI admin, you can export a list of users who export the artifacts or reports to various formats. So I sort of came up with two options and proposed the solution to them. So option one is to use Power Automate and encrypt the file and send it as an email attachment. So to do it, it's again quite straightforward. As you can see, 4 steps in Power Automate. One is the Power BI connector that exports the file, and you can see the timings as well. On average, the run only takes about a minute with all the encryption and everything. So the passwords can be either manually set up within the flow, or you can connect to a key vault, but that requires a bit of a setup. So manually providing a password within a flow works best for people. So once the exported PDF report's been protected, is sent via email to recipient. So that's one of the solution options to do it.
Marta, one question on this.
Yeah.
Is this the Power Automate is like a low code, no code solution, right? So
it is a low code. Yeah, you don't need like a technical expertise. Yeah. It's very low code.
So is that like how it looks when you develop it, those steps?
Not necessarily. I can show you how this one actually works in a minute. So, but it is a low code, so no technical expertise is required for that one.
Cool.
And also it comes with a copilot, so you can actually tell it what you want to do, and it will create a flow for you, and you just need to update the connections or just change some steps. So it's really good to use. For copilot, probably yes. Yeah, or it needs to be turned on by the administrator of the Power Platform. So it's so it's up to them. It might come under the licensing, but it needs to be turned on by the Power Platform admins.
That was before Copilot.
Yeah. So I've only used 3 connections here, like Office 365 for email authentication. It also checks the workspace access, so it's very secure. So it will only allow you to connect to the files that you have access to within a Power BI platform. So you won't be able to export anything that you don't have access to. And it also uses the PDF encryption connector as well. So option 2 is slightly longer, but it does everything from the first option. But after encrypting the file, it actually saves it in a SharePoint location and creates a link and sends a link to the file via email rather than the encrypted file. So that is a preferred solution because we want to make sure that everyone accesses the file securely on the shared locations. And it takes slightly longer, but it's only 2 minutes. And if users had to do it manually, it would take them a lot longer to do it. So, again, this one requires one more connectors to be used, which is the SharePoint connector to your shared locations to check your access. This one I am most proud of. It's much more complex, but it's been a lifesaver, and it saved us a lot of time. So we use Databricks on top of the data lake, Specsavers, and Unity Catalog was deployed last year as part of the governance solution, adding extra layer of security. So it was changing the folder structure within Databricks from 2-tier naming namespace to 3-tier. And so the issue with it, or maybe challenge we've had, that the post Unity Catalog deployment, all Power BI dataset were pointing to a non-existing folder. So to tackle this, or maybe if I just give you a context. So Unity Catalog was to be deployed over the weekend, meaning the old reports would be basically down, failed refresh on Monday morning. So prior to that deployment, we've contacted all dataset owners and instructed them to create parameters on the datasets, so we can then move repoint all datasets to the right folder. So the manual process of updating parameters on Monday morning would be everyone, all users, updating catalog's name and Power BI to the newly deployed one and refreshing datasets. So the challenge was that if everyone was going to do it at the same time, it would more likely crash the platform, and there would definitely be problems with overloading Power BI capacity. Also, we didn't we couldn't be sure whether the dataset owners would be in on Monday to update those. So any business critical reports would be out of date on Monday morning. So the solution again for it was to use Power BI with conjunction with Power BI REST API so Power BI admins, they can run API calls to get some admin stuff done. So I've used those to create a new updated automated process. So it would be run during the weekend, meaning all reports would be up and running on Monday morning. So no involvement from dataset owners. So main really action or connector I've used was the HTTP request, which I've used with conjunction with the REST API calls for the Power BI admin. So before the process, I've set some variables for the new parameters for the new catalog name, so then the Power Automate could use it. So what it did, just to give you an idea, it got and another thing why we've done it this way is we couldn't rely on people sending us dataset IDs with the parameters, because it's mainly because of the human error. They might be missing text, so which means the flow would fail, and I would need to find the errors and everything. So I've told Power Automate to get me all data sets from the tenant with parameters set. So anything with parameters would be added to a Excel spreadsheet. Then the Power Automate would only filter the data sets with parameters set to catalog, as we instructed the dataset owners before. And obviously, there will be data sets with other parameters we didn't want to touch. So this is why we've added this step. Then we would get for each of the record in a spreadsheet, we would get the dataset ID. Then another call to take ownership of the dataset in order to change the parameters online. Then I've added some delays just to make sure the previous step finished before that, and then updated parameter with the variable set beforehand. So
what happens if the delays? Sorry,
I've tested it. So I've added like 5 seconds just to make sure, because it was all right to update everything. Yes. So I had to test it because I wasn't sure how long the delay should be, but 5 seconds was enough for everything to be updated in the platform. So then it would update the parameter, then again delay to make sure if the last step was finished, and then it would automatically refresh the data set and then check if the data set refresh was successful, and then email the dataset owner saying, oh, your dataset has been updated and refreshed. Can you please take the ownership back because if I'm still the owner of the data set, I will get all the notifications around like failures and refreshes, and the owners wouldn't even have an idea if something like that was happening. So that has saved tons of manual work, and it was done during the weekend, meaning that the business was ready for Monday morning. So so there's a lot of stuff that we can do with Power Automate. I've built a lot of processes, not Power BI related. So yeah, that's probably a topic for another meeting maybe, but like connecting to Jira, based on some forms, Microsoft Forms, creating tickets in Jira, connecting to various different applications. So, and that's again just what connectors were used, but I believe the HTTP one requires a premium license. So that's pretty much what I had to present. Hope you found it useful. Any questions? Is there anything online?
Don't see anything in Teams.
Can you run it here?
I can show you. I'm not supposed to because that's my company laptop, but I can definitely.
Yeah.
The process. I haven't looked at this for a long.
Yeah.
I looked at Christ 12 years ago.
Oh, that's changed a lot. That's changed a lot.
It was always like, do they pile all the work off to the cloud now, like the Microsoft cloud?
Yeah.
Or do you run a local installation where? So I was just thinking, like, when you run these big batch processes, they take a long time.
I think you can have a local copy as well. Yeah, yeah.
And, balancing resource usage,
Yeah.
maybe among a large organisation. Do you ever notice any issues with that? I'm assuming it's run locally. If it's run in the cloud, I guess not.
Well, the ones I've practiced here were run in the cloud.
Yeah.
So I haven't noticed any like service disruption or anything like performance issues. But then again, the largest run was to get the parameters updated, and that took 4.5 hours to run. And then again, that was during the weekend, so there were no other like jobs running in the background or anything. So it didn't really degrade.
Do they give you then by company like a chunk of resources when I've seen it's done by the number of licenses. I'm just trying to gauge how much throughput your company can, how many. So it's not just going to be you, it's going to be you and your teams maybe running different reports all at once. I'm thinking of it from more of a, like if I was, somebody said, oh, can you put this solution in place? I would have to look at the technical aspects of that.
Yeah.
And if we had 20 people running reports on a Friday, what the actual outcomes of that would be, would they all be done by Monday, like you were saying? Makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. Well, actually, we've got quite good resources as Specsavers. We've got a lot of various premium capacities to run the reports on, and we've got like thousands of data sets, and hundreds are refreshing at the same time, and it still doesn't degrade the platform performance. So I think we quite good. We're quite mature in terms of like resources as Specsavers, and I really like about my Specsavers is that you've got access to most of the most of the technology that is available, and it is easy to get it. Yeah. Have I answered your question?
You have, thank you. It's a few years when I last looked at it. It was all run.
It was Microsoft Flow, wasn't it?
You had like a very limited amount of bandwidth that you could use.
Oh no, yeah.
So and so day it would all take forever, and nothing was ready on Monday.
It's the same as with Power BI. Power BI was pretty basic when I started working with it, but now it's a pretty good tool, isn't it? Yeah. So
have you used other ones like Tableau or Click?
No. I am aware of Tableau and Click, and we've used it before in Specsavers before I've joined. So the main reason for me joining was to introduce Power BI to Specsavers and work on the implementation.